Hey everybody, welcome back. And in this tutorial we are going to model this fork. In the previous one we did the spoon, so make sure you check that out. And there's a link in the description that has this particular file, utensils. So let's go ahead and jump into our front view, and we're going to create a polygon plane. So I'll start off by creating that tip right there. Go to the edge, scale it wider, scale it wide, press W, hold shift, bring it down, press R, scale it wide, press W, hold shift, bring it down, press R, scale it wider, press W, hold shift, bring it down. All right, so as you can see, the image plane doesn't match up properly with that, and it's okay. We can always, rotate things and stuff like that, but I think as for now, this is pretty good. What I would do next, like if that really bothers you, just take the manipulator tool, move it there, and then rotate it. Okay, so now I'm going to press W, hold shift, and copy that one. The outside, I don't know what you call it, but just the part of your fork looks like it's a little bit wider. And it's just within a few pixels as well, so I don't want to get too technical. That looks about right. Okay, now, excuse me, what I'll do is we'll hold shift and we'll combine these two. So shortcut, hold shift, right mouse click and hold, combined, and then we'll go to edge, hold shift, drag this down. Same thing here, hold shift, drag this down, and I'll hold V and snap it right there. I would take these two guys and those two edges, hold shift, right mouse click and hold, and go to bridge. Okay, now we can add a division in there, maybe 2. We'll select that edge, press W, and then we move it down. Okay, now we just right mouse click and hold and go to assign existing material, and Lambert 1 kind of gets rid of that. So this is the shape that we have right now, and we're going to eventually repeat that same shape on the right side. So let's continue. Let's go to edge, select these edges here, and then we'll hold shift, drag it down 1, hold shift, drag it down 2, hold shift, drag it down 3, 4, and 5 times. So we stopped it right there, and we're going to right mouse click, go to vertex, and we'll highlight those vertices. We'll press R. Okay. If you can't see your scale tool, we probably need to reset it. So, and there we go. Hold D, hold V, and then snap it right there to center. Now, we're just going to scale it wider. And do the same thing here. Hold D, hold V, snap it down, and we'll keep that up all the way down. D and V, snap it on down. And so what you're trying to do is just get the outside shape, right? And we could do that. So even when I press W, E, or R, scale tools, it's not snapping to, say, a particular point. That's because we chose the axis orientation. So if you wanted to reset that, all you have to do is click on reset. Okay, and you can press W for your move tool, and then it actually done that for all of them. Okay, so, but I'm not finished. We can just simply just take this and manually do that one there. And then if we press forward, we could see the wireframe. So I'm going to hold D, hold V, snap it over, press R, which is my skill. So for whatever reason, it doesn't want to. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, here we go. Vertex, and then scale it down like that. And then last but not least, D and V, press R, and scale it over like that. Okay. Now, I like to have nice edge flow through here, and having 4 edges, or these 4 lines go right through this might be a little bit too much. So let's just simply go to edge, double click this edge, all right, and press Control and Delete to delete it. And then we could take this edge here, press W, which is our move tool, and if we hold W, left mouse click and hold, we can scroll down here to the move options, which is the same thing as clicking the move tool here, double click, and then reset. Okay. Reset tool, and I just move this guy over like that. What we really need to do is just take that vertex and move it down. All right, so if we press 3, it's still round. Okay, and we press 1. Okay, let's take those and kind of slide them over. There's this really cool tool. It's called Offset Edge Loop. So I'll teach you how to use it. Instead of clicking up here, because I like that position, I want that one all the way down till here to move in between this edge and then in between this edge. So the way we go to the Offset Edge Loop tool is simply going to Mesh Tools, Offset Edge Loop tool. And then oops, sorry, that's not it. My apologies. Let's see. It's not the Offset Edge Loop. It is so we're going to use the slide edge. So middle mouse button, and it's actually just like these guys. Hold middle mouse button and drag it to the left. You see? And then hold shift, double click all the way there. Middle mouse button, drag it to the right. So we have even edge loops. Right mouse click, let's go back to vertex. And I think I want to move these guys down just a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to right mouse click and hold, press 5, and then that's our fork. We're going to duplicate and move it over. All right. So what we want to do is we're going to hold D, hold X, and snap it to that grid, you see? And then, let's see here, because we have this little section here, right? We need to create that right here. But if I were to duplicate and move it right along this edge, it's going to cause some problems. So we'll have to create like this section on this actually on both sides. All right, I know it sounds a little confusing, but trust me, I'll help you guys out. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. So press Control D, and then we're going to go into our channel box editor, and this is the x-axis. So with our plane 4 selected, or whatever it is that you named it, we're going to change our scale x to -1, and there we go. Okay, so it looks as though the fork is a little bit off, so we can move it over that. I think that's, because we are also dealing with like perspective of the picture. So I'm just going to move it right there. I think that's fine. All right. Now we'll select both of them. We go to Mesh, Combined, or my shortcut, hold Shift, right mouse click and hold, and Combine. All right, now we're just going to bridge a few things. So let's go right mouse click and hold, go to Edge, and click this edge, hold Shift, double click that one. Click this edge, double click and select that one. And then we'll go to Edit Mesh, Bridge. All right. Now we'll bridge this one as well. All right, so with those two selected, I just press G. Awesome. We're going to add an insert edge loop tool right down the center of that. All right, this is the target weld. That is the multi-cut. We can use a multi-cut tool as well. So if we click here, hold, no, we won't let me use that. Mesh tools, insert edge loop tool option box. Click on multiple edge loops, and let's change it to 1. So it actually clicks on, it creates one right down the center. And then right mouse click and hold, go to vertex, select that vertex, and then if we hold V, we could snap it and then drag it across so it matches that one there. Or you can just simply manually do it. And then these guys, I'll bring it down so it kind of matches the same height as that. Now I know that the width of here is a little bit wider than that. So if that bothers you, doesn't bother me, but you can simply just kind of select those edges like that and then move them over, or those vertices, and then do the same for the other side. All right, now we go. Okay, and then what I want to do is I'm trying to find this tool. It is called the offset edge loop, insert edge loop tool, no, slide edge tool, edit edge flow, that's it. So if what it did is it found the center between this edge and that edge. So if I click on that one and then hold shift, right mouse click and hold, and edit edge flow, I click on this guy and then press G, you see how it's kind of giving me a little bit more room in between those points. So I can always just kind of slide it over. I'm pressing G to repeat the previous command. All right. There we go. That looks much better. And if any of your edges up here feel the same, then you can do that. But I like what we have here. Okay. And now what I want to do is give this thing a little bit of thickness. But before we do that, I think it's always, always, always imperative to save. So let's go to File, Save Scene As. I already called it Fork Base 01. We'll call it Fork Base 02 just to have progress. And let's delete some history. So that icon here deletes the history. And as you can see, we lost our texture. So no need to fear. Let's just rename that to Fork. Right mouse click and hold, assign existing material Lambert. And there we go. Okay. One thing that we forgot to do, well, you guys probably already knew what was up, is give this object some contour, right? So let's hop on over to our side view. And just like we did before in the previous tutorial, I'm going to create just some reference points for the top of the fork and then right here, so I know exactly where to curve it. All right, so I'll hold shift to create this square, hold shift and duplicate it, hold shift, select both of those squares, and then we'll right mouse click and hold, assign existing material, and it was red. That was from the previous tutorial. So those of you that don't know how to create that color, very simple. Select it, right mouse click and hold, assign new material. I created Lambert and change the color to red, just like that. Okay, so this is side view. We'll press spacebar and then we will go to view, image plane, import image, and then we have this picture, fork side. And again, these images will be available in the description below, so make sure you download them before you start. Open, and we will rotate this image. Let's just press E, hold J, and then just flip it like that. Okay, now we have to move this picture back and our perspective behind the fork. Again, we can't see that geometry because it's super flat. And what I want to do is hold D to make my manipulator tool go to the top of this fork. So essentially what we're going to be using is the shape of that to create our fork. And we'll stop right there because if you remember, that's where we stopped our geometry. Okay? So get rid of that. Press W for the move tool. I'll take this guy, bring him up to the top. So the top of the fork is lined up to the bottom of that square. Press R, scale to Y, bigger. Move it forward. And we don't have to create that much of a contour. I feel like it's a bit too curved. So I'm just going to take this. I don't know if I can scale this image. No, I can't. If it was a regular picture, not like an image plane, then we could scale it. Okay, we can change the shape if we want. All right, y'all. So what we're going to do is selecting our geometry. Okay, we are going to do this a little painfully. All right, So let's just take the vertices at the top, that row of vertices, and then I'll kind of make this a split screen so that you could see what's going on in the front view. All right, and then here, let's just go to our side. It just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so let's slide those guys over here. And so the edge that I'll be using as my reference is going to be the outer, what would you call it? Pixels. All right, so now I'll take these guys, move them over. Okay, so let's right mouse click and hold, go to object mode on that piece of geometry, and that looks pretty good. So now we are going to change this back to perspective, press F on our geometry, and that's the shape. Like I said, it's a little bit too curved for my taste. So what we can do is just press R and then maybe scale it. I think that looks much better. And kind of scale it down a little bit. Now, if we did this when the geometry is thick, like if we extruded it and we moved it like that, and then we try to scale it, look what happens to the thickness of our fork, right? It just starts to get like really weird. It's not bad. Okay, so get that to look the way you want it. I think this is good enough for me. And now we're going to give it a little bit of thickness, right? So let's go back to our for perspective. We can delete these guys for now. Select that geometry, and then we'll press Control E. Now, if you use that, then it's going to probably be ideal. Okay, like this. If you want the top parts of the fork to be a little bit flatter, we can always hold Control to deselect those spaces and then kind of push. We see how it's kind of it's still moving that bottom part. So let's just press W, which is the move tool, and then we can do that. You see how we're making it a little bit thinner. I think that's fine. Right mouse click, object mode. Now these forks here, this edge for me is a little bit too thick. All right, so let's select 1, 2, 3, 4. And down. These guys, and kind of push it back there. And then I'll move it up just slightly. Okay, right mouse click and hold, object. And then we press 3, you can see. There we go. Now, if we want the edges of this fork to be a bit sharper, Then we'll come back a little bit later and I'll teach you guys how to add some edge loops and things like that to make it look nice. All right, moving right along. We want to do this, kind of take the same exact approach that we did in the last tutorial where I don't have do I have the spoon in this one? No, I don't. Okay, well, this edge here wasn't completely flat, okay? What we did was we moved a few vertices up and around so that it gave it a little bit of contour, and I'll show you right now exactly what I'm talking about. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 vertices. This being the center, we would move that up a little bit and then kind of repeat the same pattern so that it would eventually give us a nice curve. Okay, just like that. So how do we do it? Well, let's go into vertex mode. All right. And we'll move this one forward. Looks like these two. Move them up. Those. Just kind of correcting it as we see. And then I'll just select those 4. Move them up. Hold Control to deselect those ones and then bring these ones out. And I think I need to modify that just a little bit. Okay, so it's rounder. And this outer edge, let's bring it down. So if you want to repeat the same thing to the bottom of it, you can. I like the bottom being flat and then the top part having a little bit of contour. So let's select these faces. Select that one, hold Shift, double click. And now, based on our front view, we are going to extrude, bring it straight down like this. Now our image isn't perfectly aligned with this, so I'm just going to stop, click on our image plane, and you can't see my move tool, but I'm holding Shift, middle mouse button, and I'm sliding it over to the right without actually using the manipulator tool. Pretty cool, right? All right, so let's go to vertices. I'll select these vertices, bring them down to like this edge here. We'll press R, scale them wide so it matches the width, and then I'll take that middle one, bring it down, take these two, bring it straight down, and we're just following this contour, very simple shape, but elegant nonetheless. Looks really nice. All right, and there we go. So how many edge loops do we want in here? I don't know, I try to like get it to look pretty nice. If we cut it there, so that's 3, 4, 5. All right, I think 5 is good. So let's select this guy. We go to mesh tools, insert edge loop tool. We have it set to multiple edge loops. Change that to 5. Close it and Shazam. There we go. And that, everybody, ladies and gents, is how to create a fork. Now, you can see the outer edge here is a bit round. And again, that's not our reference image. This is our reference. If you wanted to, you know, maybe change that shape, I would definitely maybe like add a bevel to this. All right, if I double click here. So this is just part of the finish. I want to double click there. And let's see what happens when we get this bevel. I don't think I would bevel that. And let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so now we have all those edges selected. We're going to hold shift, right mouse click and hold, bevel. And just like I expected, that bevel is very, very tiny because we have some edges that are extremely close to the that. So if we change the fraction, you don't want to go too far because then it's going to get really close to that edge there. Okay. And then the way to fix it, I think, is just too much time and energy. But that's probably as best as we could get it. Right mouse click and hold. If we press 3, then it looks pretty good. All right, so that concludes this tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop me a comment, let me know what you think about it, like, subscribe, and in the next tutorial I will teach you guys how to add simple 3-point lights to it and add a shader to it, so to get a really beautiful image. All right, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. All right, peace.